EIU head coach Jason Anderson, 10th season with the program. Team picked fifth in the preseason poll. Coach, just heading into 2025, general thoughts on you and your program.
Like everybody, we're excited to get going. The biggest thing for us this year is, I feel like we have way more experience than we did last year. Coming off the year where we played in the regional, we had to bring in 27 new faces last year, which was something that I had never had to do. And really thought that we were set up for it well with some of the guys that we were bringing back that I thought could carry us through a year like that. And we ended up losing three of our pitchers to kind of freak accidents in a 4-day period. And from that, you're in kind of grind mode. And so, very impressed and proud of our guys for ending up around 500 last year in the league. But this year, I think it's a completely different story in that we have a lot of experience, and not all coming from last year on our team, but we've got some transfers in here with tons of at bats that I'm excited to see these guys on the field.
Talk about a little bit more about that and like how the recruiting the game has changed with people, but how you philosophy of building a roster may be different than what it was, and obviously in year one or two, and getting some of those guys with experience from different programs.
Yeah, I mean, I always say like we're looking under every rock. I want good players and I want better people. I want freshmen. I've heard a lot of guys talk about the problems that they're going to run into by having an older group that not everybody's going to play. That comes with the territory of not taking a risk on a young guy. Our best guys have been guys that have came in here and taken a chance on Eastern Illinois and came in and bought in and developed and been committed to our program. And, we put 3 guys into the big leagues last year. There's not a lot of programs that can say that they did that last year. And so, I think it's important to a program to have young guys.
Gabe, I'll go to you in just one second. That was on my list of questions, Coach. Talk about that. The MLB guys and what you've seen from when they were in Charleston, what they had to do to get to the point they are. Sometimes you can have all the talent and maybe it doesn't break right for you. Maybe you're with the wrong team, you're behind a great player, but it worked for these guys, and what that means for your program now, but what it means for your program in recruiting for 5 or 10 years, I guess.
Well, I think it just shows people it can be done. Like if you do things the right way and you have people that believe in you and have patience, if you have coaches that are committed to their programs, that want to be at their programs, you can do some pretty special things. And that's what I think some of those guys fell into. They just wanted to be D1 guys. They wanted a chance to develop. They wanted an opportunity to play, and they had all the work ethic and desire to go develop. And to see those guys do it is pretty cool to see. I mean, outside of them, you got Ryan Ignafo going to big league camp this year. So, that's just what we're trying to provide here at Eastern Illinois.
And watching the playoffs last year, and there's Trey Sweeney, with his opportunity too. So I don't know. You mentioned Ryan too. What are the next inclination of EIU players do you see? Are there other ones maybe besides Ryan too that will get in the pipeline and maybe will be the next to make their MLB debut?
Yeah, it's hard to say MLB debuts. That throw that around. Like there's 20,000 people that have ever experienced that, but is it in the realm of possibility? Absolutely, absolutely. Like if I could get there, I tell people anybody can do it, but you got to want it. You got to have a mentality for it. You got to work for it, and you got to have a little luck. But a big part of it is having the right people around you. Like you don't need the fanciest of stadiums, but you need the right people around you.
What do you like most about this team now? And then the flip side, what's one thing you need to work on the first couple of weeks of the season to get it to where you want to be?
This is just a good group. Like I said, we're experienced. We've got 8 pitchers that got a lot of experience. We had freshmen last year that pitched, and we got a ton of at bats, but they're just great people. Like I don't worry on weekends. They go to class. We had a 3.5 GPA in the fall, and they know how to play baseball. We played our 2 games in the fall, and people are like, "Man, you got a ton of undersized right-handed hitters." It's like, you bet we do. Like they're going to be tough at bats. They're going to see pitches. They know how to play. They're all going to play defense, and so it's what I love about this group. The guys that we brought in, it's sometimes, risky when you're dabbling in the portal, but they have been absolute fits and fantastic for us.
You know, your team won, you won the tournament and were in the regional 2 years ago. Talk about that experience in Marion, and then, the tournaments there again this year, just how all that sort of has been, and just having the event there, I guess.
We love it. I mean, I like the location. They do a great job down there. The setup of the tournament is pretty wild to me, but it worked in our favor 2 years ago. There's some years where it hasn't worked in our favor, and that's kind of what I like about it. Like, you got to be ready to go in there and compete. And I think one of the coaches talking about teams that were ready to pack up and go home. You see that. You see that when you get to that point in the year, which I never thought I would see in baseball. But it sets you up to expose teams that, like, if you want to go to the regional, you got to go in there and you got to earn it and you got to take it from somebody.
It's a lot. It's a cliche. It's a long season, but it is. If things aren't going right for you in February, what are the key things that you have to do as a coach to keep people moving, keep them motivated, keep them improving, so that you are playing your best in May?
Yeah. Well, I just think you got to have the right people. They got to believe in what you're doing, and you got to understand there's going to be obstacles, there's going to be injuries, there's going to be bumps in the road. But it's baseball. You get a chance to go out there in uniform and compete and try to take a win on that day. It's not a hard concept, but you got to have the people that really want to go do that. And last year was a prime example of that, of all the adversity we faced with the injuries. And we went to the back half of the year, like on the cusp of not making the tournament, and we had to go sweep 2 weekends to get in there, and we end up in fifth place. And pretty happy with the year considering everything that we were running up against.
Also about your schedule, you got ULM to open, and some obviously warm climate schools there, but just thoughts on the non-conference.
Yeah, we got Monroe first, and then we'll go play Arkansas State and Austin P and then Northern Kentucky. So we decided we were going to go deep south and work our way back up as hopefully the weather warms up. But with the competition, these are all programs that had good years last year or got great coaches and on the rise. But I just think they're going to be really competitive weekends, and that's what I think the OVC is like anything can happen on any weekend. Like, you could be ranked first and the last place team can get hot and sweep you. Like, it just anything can happen in this league. And that's what I tried to set up, is just really competitive weekends, to just see what we're made of and get right to like trying to win games early.
And you all have played Arkansas and gone to some big boys too. And is each year a little different in what you learn in the non-conference? I guess you always may not get the result, but are you getting the things that you need to see from your team to help you make adjustments?
Yeah, well, sometimes stars got to line. If you want to go tackle Arkansas, like, I feel like you got to have an experienced group that are ready for that. And when you're scheduling 2, 3, 4 years out, it's hard to know that. And so, you just kind of move it around and you do the best you can with it. But I really like our schedule. I just think weather is going to play a big factor this spring.
Coach, appreciate your time this morning. Just best of luck to you and the Panthers all season long.
Thank you.